Hello and welcome back to the Movie Attic. I'm Mike, and as I've said 1,000 times, this is the attic where I discuss and review movies, DVDs, Blu-rays, and 4Ks for all the nice people out there in YouTube land. Happy holidays, of course. I see a lot of channels doing top 10 Christmas movies and all this kind of stuff and rankings. I just wanted to come on and give, like, in the kind of like 12 Days of Christmas style, 12 movies that we watch every year that we absolutely love. They're not in any particular order, they're not ranked, they're just movies we love. Although I will say the first movie and the 12th movie have something in common. And I do have a stack of honorable mentions and one bonus one. But the honorable mentions, absolutely great movies. Like I say, it's not a commentary on whether the movie's great or not. It's if you've watched the channel, well, things are a little crazy. But yeah, I absolutely love some movies that most people would think are just absolutely terrible. So with all that out of the way first, the honorable mentions, and like I say, they're great movies, and we love them. It's just, I can't make a video, a half-hour video with like 30 films we love. So, and I know you'd be sick by the end of it anyway. Here's the honorable mentions. First up, of course, It's a Wonderful Life is a great movie. Just because it's not in the 12 doesn't mean it's any lesser of a movie. We absolutely love it. A great message. Next honorable mention is the original How the Grinch Stole Christmas. A classic. Nothing wrong with it whatsoever. Next up is the 1951 A Christmas Carol. I did a review of this movie this year, and like I say, I absolutely love it. It's just not on the 12. Which, who knows, next year this list could be completely different, by the way. Another classic, A Muppets Christmas Carol. Absolutely love the performance by Michael Caine. And there's another classic, White Christmas. We haven't watched it this year yet, but yeah, we love it. Holiday Inn, another classic. We actually watched this year. Nothing wrong with it, of course. And another classic that I grew up with, Frosty the Snowman. So those are the honorable mentions. Like I say, there's nothing wrong with those movies. I absolutely love them. But consistently, they're probably not ones I watch every year. So, starting out with number 12, and I'm not going to keep going, 11, 9, 10. I'll just put the number here somewhere. So good luck. At number 12, though, I will mark this one, is the classic, The Polar Express. I caught this movie originally in pieces. I just turned the TV to that channel. I think it was ABC Family at the time. And I'd catch little segments of it. And then eventually I ended up watching the whole movie. It's a Robert Zemeckis film. He started this whole craze with that motion capture way of filming, if you know what that is. It's one where Tom Hanks does a pile of voices in it. Has a wonderful soundtrack. The Hot Chocolate song, of course, is a classic. And our youngest kid had to have that playing every night on repeat for like hours. And I'm surprised that CD has not worn out. And I also have the Lionel train set of the Polar Express. So there's number 12. Next up, I might have explained this a few thousand times. I grew up as a young kid in the 70s, a teenager in the 80s, so there's going to be a few of these movies on the list. It's the Rankin and Bass classic, The Year Without a Santa Claus. Of course, this movie we have to watch every year because the Heat Miser and Snow Miser song are like classic song from Rankin Bass. I believe Santa Claus, if I'm not mistaken, the voice is done by Mickey Rooney, which he did the voice for Santa Claus in a few of these type movies. So yeah, this is a staple every year that we must watch. And so next up we have one that probably doesn't get talked about too much. And I'll put the year of each one of these movies down below somewhere as well. It Happened on Fifth Avenue. And this is, one of those Warner Archive collection Blu-rays. We just adore this movie. I think we'd seen it on TCM one year. Of course, I had to buy it after that. But the main character in this movie, just adorable. One of these years I'll have to do a review of it because it's just a very heartwarming story. A lot of humor in it. You know, not like slapstick humor, but just humor in general. So, that's that one. Next up is a movie based off of the classic TV special, of course. It's The Grinch, with the voice done by Benedict Cumberbatch, which I was quite surprised because I don't know what he sounds like normally, but the voice put me in mind of Bill Hader more than Benedict Cumberbatch. I bought this, as I might have explained once or twice before. There was a time where I was just buying up these animated features, and I didn't know whether they were good or bad, but we started watching this, and every year it was like it kept getting better for us. And now we watch it every year because we like it that much. And it's a much longer story than the original. But, yep, this one has earned a spot in our rotation every year. Next up, it's part of this holidays collection. Of course, it's the classic, and I think that's the main picture of it in the background there, of the Peanuts Christmas special. Like I say, grew up watching these things as a kid, so it was a no-brainer to watch this every year, although we haven't watched it yet this year, but it's coming. Next up is another classic, Rankin and Bass. It's Santa Claus is Coming to Town. If you know some of these classic Rankin and Bass specials, they usually have a famous person like Danny Kaye or Fred Astaire. I think it's Fred Astaire in this case, who does like a narration telling the story. And this is one of those specials that kind of tries to answer every question, like why does Santa Claus come down the chimney? Why does he put the toys in the stocking? And so forth. I think there was an Easter one that did the exact same thing. This is another one where I believe Mickey Rooney does the voice for Santa. And, of course, it has the classic songs that, I think there was the first Toy Makers was one of the big songs in this one. But, yeah, another one. And we have watched it. Oh, and I will say this 4K looks fantastic. My big wish would be that all these Rankin and Bass special get a 4K restoration, because this one really looks good. Next up, a classic in the sense, it's the Christmas in Connecticut movie. I believe it's Barbara Stanwyck is one of as the main character, but I believe we saw this again on like TCM or somewhere, fell in love with it, especially the guy that cooks. He's just a very likable and funny character. A lot of hijinks goes on in this movie, and of course, it's a love story, so me and the wife love it. And in the bonus features, you probably can't see most of this stuff because of the beautiful lighting up here in the attic, but there's a bonus feature of another short story that's very heartwarming and can really speak to you at these times, how the one character is so busy and hectic that he kind of loses sight of, being nice to people and helping people out. So another great one from the oldies pile. The next one is probably one you either like or you don't like, which I guess it could be said about all these movies. It is Elf. It has become kind of like a modern holiday classic. Of course, it stars Will Ferrell, and there is absolutely a pile of stars in this movie. There's Peter Dinklage, Andy Richter, I think, Ed Asner, James Caan, Mary Steenburgen, Zooey Deschanel, or whatever her name is. She's a singer, and I have a few of their Christmas CDs. And this movie, too, has, I think his name's Jon Favreau, or whatever, is the director. He likes Rankin and Bass movies, because I've seen him on some of the bonus features of them. So he incorporated some of, there's a talking snowman, almost like Rudolph, and there's even a sequence where Will Ferrell's walking through the woods. I think it's in Central Park. And they play the footage almost like that famous Bigfoot footage, from the 60s, I believe. So another one that's earned its spot on the list, and we have seen it this year. Of course, this Rankin and Bass classic, we can't go any year without watching this. A host of great songs. Of course, Burl Ives is the snowman and singer of all the songs. Well, not all the songs, I guess. Rudolph and Hermie sing some of the songs, but it has the Bumble Snow Monster, the classic Rankin and Bass stop motion, and we have watched it. I used to watch it. I believe it was on Thursdays, maybe, when I was a kid, every year, so many weeks before Christmas. So another no-brainer for the list. The next one, of course, unless you've been in a cave, this movie is played for like 24 hours every year on one of those networks, to the point where I had actually gotten sick of it and didn't watch it for many years. But I have since come back around to watching it again every year. Just once, though, not 24 hours worth. It's got so many classic things to it, with the lamp, that prize that the dad won, and Ralphie, and the fudge, and, all that classic stuff. Oddly enough, I was about 14 years old when this movie came out. And I remember seeing the advertisements for it on TV and thinking, that looks like that would be a great movie. So even back then, just seeing like the trailers, I thought maybe this might be an instant classic. Next up, we have a movie that is very near and dear to me and my wife's heart. It is The Shop Around the Corner. This is a classic Hollywood movie from the day. It's James Stewart, of course, and the guy that plays the wizard from The Wizard of Oz is actually in this movie as well. This movie was remade a couple times into, most people would know the remake of this as You've Got Mail. But there was another one, I think it was called In the Good Old Summertime with Judy Garland, another alum from The Wizard of Oz. But it's a love story. It's about a shop owner. It all takes place around, it all comes to a head at like Christmas. And we actually saw this movie, I think it was for our, every year we go to our local theater for a dinner and a movie for Valentine's Day. So absolutely, we watch it every year. I don't know if I showed the back. I get so carried away with these movies, you know, I'm such an excitable person. And last but not least, and it's not necessarily in order of greatness, it is A Christmas Carol, the one starring Jim Carrey. Like I said, this one and the first one I showed have things in common because, one, they're both Christmas movies made with that motion capture technique. Robert Zemeckis is the guy that did those things. And Jim Carrey, like Tom Hanks, does multiple voices in this movie. Of course, it's the classic tale. This one is a little scarier than some, I would think. If you have young kids, I don't know. This one might be a little scary. There is something in this movie that I don't see in some of the other Christmas Carol movies. Is the Ghost of Christmas Future actually kind of sends a carriage after Ebenezer, which, if you know these kind of stories, you know, in some cultures there's a carriage that comes to take you away when you're dead. In fact, there was a silent movie called The Phantom Carriage. So, yeah, absolutely love this. Between the time the Polar Express came out and this movie, the advances in this, the big complaint about the Polar Express was, I think, that it seemed like everybody had like dead eyes, like there was like nothing in behind the eyes. It creeped people out. I know it creeps my mom out. But boy, 5 years later, they really stepped up their game. A lot of detail to this, where some of the details a little vague in the Polar Express. And one of the more touching scenes for me is when Bob Cratchit is kind of blankly staring, but it looks like he's staring right into Ebenezer Scrooge's eyes. Just so much heartache in that look. Very touching. So there you have it. There's the 12 movies of Christmas that we watch every year. Like I say, the list might even change next year because we started watching some every year. And like I promised, there's a bonus. This isn't a movie or a TV movie or any of that. It's actually a series. It's the Ultraman Ace TV series from Japan. There is a Christmas episode, I think it's number 38 in the series, that I watch every year. I absolutely love it. I like the guy that plays Santa Claus, or the Ultra Father, if you know anything about these Ultraman things. So there you have it. There's my list. Of course, leave a comment down in the comment section. of what your favorite Christmas movies are. As you probably guessed, there isn't any horror movies in this list. I don't generally watch horror movies around Christmas time, but I do have the Mean One, but I haven't got the nerve to watch it yet. And I know a lot of my friends and YouTube friends love horror movies for Christmas, and there's a bunch of them. So I guess that'll do it for this episode in the attic. Like I say, if you've got some favorites or even suggestions, leave a comment down in the comments section. I'd love to discuss all this stuff. My next video might be, I'm not sure yet, but it might be an alternative list of maybe obscure or little known Christmas movies that maybe you don't know about. I'm not saying they're good or anything. It's going to be an alternative list of maybe something for you to check out. I guarantee there's at least got to be one of the movies on that list that you've never heard of. So until then, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye.